when should you create your marketing strategy? You want me to go ahead and answer that while you're
Yeah, go right ahead. I'm copying
so
that in.
this is one of those things that I feel like most authors way too long to get into. Really, a lot of people's mindset is I just want to finish writing my book and then I'll deal with all the rest. The problem with that is that if you're indie publishing, you are wearing the hat of all the roles that a publisher would wear, including the setting your book up for success, positioning your book, maybe depending on what level of publisher you have, as in if they're a big company or a medium-sized company, they're probably going to be putting together some type of publicity for you. They're going to be doing a lot of the groundwork to establish that marketing. Plus, the bigger fact is that they already have the channels and the inroads into the places that is going to set your book up for success. Well, as an indie author, you have to do as much of that groundwork as you can. And a big part of it is trying to figure out how to show up in front of readers, because at the end of the day, that's your key to selling books is having readers who are readily available and want to buy it. And there's oodles of ways to show up in front of readers, but in order to do this most effectively, you really have to be very clear on who that ideal reader is, who your target audience is, know something about them, know something about their behaviors and where they're at and where they consume their information about books and all of those types of things. So how that relates to your marketing strategy is that is the core component of your strategy. Knowing who wants to read your book, why they want to read your book, and where they go to find books, where they go to find out information about books, where they hear about books, where they learn about books, and making sure that you're doing what you can to have your book positioned in those types of places. So for me, when you're doing your editing, it's really important when you're writing, when you're editing from the very, very beginning, from the day you conceive the notion of this book, you should be thinking about your marketing and how that's going to impact everything, thinking about your characters, your themes, your overall goals and mission of your book and how that impacts people and why people want your book. That's all part of your marketing strategy, and it has to start from the very beginning.
Exactly. And we do ask people that when they come into developmental edit, what is your niche and who are you emulating? And that allows us to not only give you the right editor, but it also means that they can evaluate, are you working along the same, form? Are you following the subconscious expectations of your audience? And that's very, very important when you're writing the book. So again, if you don't have that, go back, whatever you're doing, stop, go back and figure it out, because it's going to affect every step you take from the moment you're writing to editing to marketing to publishing, and it's just going to succeed. Go ahead.
Exactly. And I see a question. I hope I'm pronouncing this right, from maybe Yanni. Sorry if I totally butchered that. But if you click on the link, or if you copy that link that Joellen just posted, it actually talks about target reader, ideal reader. And at the bottom of that page, there's an opt in for a worksheet for some questions and some tactics for you to think about as you're considering who that ideal reader is and what you need to know. And based on whether you're writing fiction or nonfiction, the questions can still guide you to the right place, but you have to think in terms of, for nonfiction, often you're writing books that solve a pain point for someone.
Right.
You're either teaching them something, giving them something that's going to help them improve their lives or transform their lives, or, giving them a plan for what's next. So when you're thinking about that ideal reader, you're really thinking about what it is that they're trying to achieve, what pain points they have. And the pain points mean, like, what's the problem they're trying to solve? What is it that they want to transform and to be different from, and your book is helping them get there. So you start thinking about those things and where those people would be. On the fiction side, the pain points, it's a little bit harder. You might think to yourself, a fiction reader doesn't have pain points, but I would argue you just flip the word a little bit and think about, like, what is it that person really wants to gain from reading your book? And all of us want to gain something from reading, whether it's just entertainment, whether it's laughing, whether it's feeling love, whether it's feeling sadness, whether it's they want to be excited by a new witchy book or a vampire book. They want something. And you can start to learn a lot about what your readers want by understanding what it is that they're looking to achieve by reading this book. I can tell you, for example, when I wrote my, I've written a lot of nonfiction books, but I wrote my first romantic comedy this last, well, I've been writing it for years, but it finally published in December.
Yay.
And one of the, thank you. And one of the ways that I got into the mindset of what readers want was easy for me because it was what I wanted as a reader. I'm also a reader and consumer of romantic comedy. And in the time that I was writing and doing that, I was doing a lot of reading of
Mm,
these books because I needed, it was during COVID, it was during my divorce, it was during all of these heavy, heavy things. And I wanted something light. I wanted something happy. I wanted to feel good. I wanted to believe in love. I wanted to, all these things like those were my pain points. That's why I turned to that genre. I read a lot of heavy fiction, World War II fiction, as an example. And during this
mhm,
time period, all I wanted was to laugh and to
mhm.
feel good, light feelings. So that's where you begin in thinking about what it is that your reader wants, what they're consuming, what they're getting from that. So hopefully that makes sense.